All right, if you're thinking of starting high ticket sales in 2026, whether that be appointment setting or remote closing, I'm going to give you the actual reality of what it's like and what to expect, because a lot of the time now with these people that are preaching online sales, right, I know I'm one of them that teaches you and preaches about it, but a lot of these guys are selling you the dream rather than actually telling you how it is and what to expect. Now listen, I've been doing this for 2 years. This isn't something that I've done brand new. I've been working with people like Charlie Morgan and William Brown. I've done 2 million cash collected. I'm still a setter as we speak. I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to give you a full reality for setting and closing, exactly what to expect. Okay, so the first thing that you need to understand, similar to what I just said there, right, is number one, right, most people are frauds. Okay, now this goes mainly towards the people that are teaching you appointment setting, and it also goes towards people who are not just appointment setting, teaching remote sales, but also people who are the offer owners, right? The people you can be working with. So how this looks is the people that are the frauds for teaching how to get into sales, a lot of those guys haven't actually done it, or they did it very briefly in the past, don't do it anymore, and now teach you how to do it by selling you a course, but they don't actually, in that course, it's not actually real, actionable, helpful advice that actually works, but you'll believe it because they speak with conviction. It's very easy to sell something to someone who doesn't know what they're talking about, right? Doesn't actually, they're quite new to the model. For example, I could just, I don't know, I could go up to someone and say, hey, I want to learn about how to pay 0% tax. And this guy could go, yes, what you can do is you could set up 6 LTDs. I'm just trying to think of like a random example. Somebody could say something totally just wrong, and I would believe them because they were speaking with conviction and I have no knowledge on the space. So I'd be like, he sounds confident, he sounds like he knows what he's talking about, I'm just gonna believe what he says. That's kind of what happens with remote sales stuff now. Some of these guys that teach you it, right, I'd love to name names so you can avoid getting, I don't want to say scammed, but mugged off, right? They did it very briefly in the past, don't know what they're talking about, don't do it now, or they never did it in the past and they saw a really quick opportunity to make money. Some of those guys really are frauds. If you're going to work with someone that is going to teach you how to do setting or closing, make sure they have a seriously strong track record, right? Or are still doing it to this day, which is why I have confidence teaching you about it, because I'm still a setter as we speak, okay? So to get into anything like remote sales, starting a business, whatever, I always recommend having some form of guidance, right? Whether that be watching educational videos or having a mentor, it needs to be done to get speed, okay? So if you're gonna do that, be very careful and actually vet the person you're working with. Are they still practicing what they preach? Why do they stop? If they have stopped, how long do they do it beforehand? How much money did they make beforehand? You get a point. Vet it, okay? Super, super, super important, okay? That's the first one. So most are frauds in terms of that. Now for the actual offer owners, right, the people who are actually be working with you, a lot of these guys love to try and pay you stupid structures that don't make sense and you're not going to make a lot of money on, and they'll claim it's because, you know, this is what it's like in sales. You know, you've got to suck it up and work commission only roles. Yeah, but only if the company's dialed in. Sometimes if you don't know what you're looking for, you can get on a roll that says 5% commission on the sale for a setter, right? And they can't get leads to show up to the call. They can't close them for a high ticket price. And basically your income's at the mercy of how good their sales calls are, which is just ridiculous, okay? So if you aren't being taught by the right mentor, so to speak, you're going to fall right into that trap. So you've fallen into the trap of a crap mentor, and on top of that, you've fallen into the trap of getting on crap offers because your crap mentor hasn't told you how to vet crap offers, okay? So yeah, most people are frauds. That's point number one. Point number two, it's not easy, right? They like to make it out to be this really easy thing. No, it's not. It's fantastic, and it can become easy with skill and practice, but to get in, right, and to do it, it's still hard. It's easier than other models, but it's not like a walk in the park. Especially if you're just starting out. Like, you're gonna have to accept anything that you do which is ambitious and trying to go against the grain of the traditional 9-to-5 route, traditional, grow old, get a mortgage, marry some woman that you don't actually really like, have kids, die. It's just like, to go against that, it's not going to be easy, because if it was, then it wouldn't be such a big thing about people living this 90% life, right? Where it's just like basically what I just said there, right? My lips are really dry. It's not easy. It's going to take some hard work. It's going to take some effort. It's going to take some skill, but you can do it. And it is definitely one of the easiest, lowest barrier to entry realms to get into as a beginner, but it still requires a lot of you, okay? So please don't start it if you're not willing to put in work, okay? You can't go and make $5,000 a month, travel the world, come to Montenegro on a one-way trip. Just straight off the bat, you can't do it without hard work. No matter what mentor or person you invest in, you are still going to be the person that's putting the work at the end of the day. No one can do it for you, okay? This is all down to you. So understand that before you get into it. That's point number 2. Number 3, this is also super important. It's very, very, very competitive, right? Right? But with crap. So setting and closing, my God, has it just the past year, it seems like every man and his dog are doing it. Everyone's a setter, everyone's a closer, everyone's a sales coach. I get it. Everyone's one of me. We're all copy and paste. I like to think that I'm not, but you get the point. Like, this is super saturated, it's super competitive, but that's good because number 1, it shows that it works. But number 2, it's saturated with crap because they're all being taught by crap mentors. You get like the people at the top that are like, oh yeah, remote sales, bringing these lower people into this realm, saturating it with crap because they don't know what they're talking about, making it easier for the people that actually do get the talk right, the right information, which is what I will teach you, right? Making it easier for those guys, okay? So it is competitive. Don't let that stop you. It's competitive with crap because they're all being taught by terrible mentors that I'd love to name the names of, right? Terrible competition, okay? So don't let that put you off. It is super competitive, but it's actually a gap in the market, right, for you to actually get into, because if you can do it the right way, you're going to stick out like a sore thumb in a good way and actually get roles and get paid properly, okay? Cool, that is number 3. Number 4, right, is remote closing, okay? So closing is for experienced people. You don't start remote closing off the bat. You start remote closing, number 1, when you've got full-time hours to put into it, which is going to be rare if you're just trying to start out making money online. Rarely anybody starts out making money online with a full-time schedule and a calendar available to get into closing, right? Because closing, you've probably been sold the idea on 10K a month, remote closing. Fantastic, you can do that. It's very demanding. You can't do it with just a few calls per day, right? A few hours per day. Because you're going to be outcompeted by killers who are better than you at sales that can do full hours per day. So it just doesn't really make sense. Okay, number 2, on top of that, let's say you are crap and you've just joined a closing mentorship and you have no sales skills. Why would an offer owner hire you as their closer rather than someone who's already a killer and is already doing full time, compared to someone that is a 9-to-5er, fancies making a bit of money online, joined a mentorship, has a couple hours per day free, and is willing to give it a shot? Why would he trust them straight away to close 10K deals over the phone when they can get someone like Jordan Belfort level, right, straight away, and not have to go for that trial and error process of training you up and trying to get you on the calendars, which is what will happen if you start out brand new, okay? So closing, if you have previous sales experience, it's going to be, feasible for you because you actually have the skill. Then it just comes down to the timing thing. That can be figured out a lot easier once you've actually got the skill and the track record. But if you don't have experience as a setter or in sales in general, it's going to make it near impossible. So you need to start working your way up. Please stop putting 10K a month as your immediate goal. You're not going to get there in 3 months. That is my next point I'm going to cover in a second, but you're not going to get there in 3 months. It's not by any means a walk in the park. Please stop believing what you hear online about how remote closing is just location freedom. You can do whatever you want. No, it's not. You are tied to the PC taking sales calls every single day. It is cutthroat as hell. You need to be experienced to start, okay? Whether that be in-person sales doing door-to-door, or you started off as a setter and then you decided to transition into a closer. You can't start off as introvert that fancies making a bit of money online, they can't speak to girls, start selling 10K deals over the phone because you can get out competed by somebody who can put in full-time hours, is actually a killer and actually has a strong track record. And yeah, you get the point. Okay, I can keep going. So closing is not for people to start straight away. Okay, if you want to get into closing, right, get into remote sales. Start appointment setting. This is my unbiased opinion, honestly. Start appointment setting because you can do that while you're working a job. Start getting paid a couple of grand a month, match your job wage. If you want, you can then go quit that job, do setting full time, then transition to being a closer after you've got the setting experience. Boom, super easy. That is how you do it, okay? Super, super, super simple, super, super, super easy, okay? Sorry, not easy. Easy to understand, but not easy to do because like I said, right, it's not easy. That it is easier than starting like an AI automation agency as a complete mong, basically, right? Which used to be me. Okay, right, 10K a month. You're not going to make that straight away, okay? Not immediate. Please drop the goal of making 10K a month. Let me rephrase that. Please drop the goal of making 10K a month in 3 months. Because you're not going to get there in 3 months. As a complete beginner, you won't. What you can do in 3 months is basically match the same amount of money you're making from your job. Then you can go and quit, go full time. And then you can, for example, offer stack, get to 10K, or you can start closing and then get to 10K. But 10K immediately is what's going to keep you broke. So imagine this. You start remote sales. Boom. You've been sold by a guy who's a fraud, doesn't know what he's talking about. Fantastic. You are in the whole mix of the crap people who don't know what they're doing because you've been taught by this fraud. Fantastic. And you have this goal of making 10K a month tomorrow and you want to start closing when you can't do full-time hours. Do you think you're going to make any money at all doing that? No, of course you won't. Of course you're not going to make any money doing that. Of course you're not going to do that, right? So you need to drop that. Just honestly, guys, I'm just so sick of people in this space selling the dream when some of it couldn't be further from the truth, right? Winds me up. AI is coming. In fact, it's already here. For appointment setting, DM setting specifically, we're in a bit of trouble. It won't be totally replaced. Chatbots and softwares will be used more and more. A setter will have to come in and manage it. It actually make good setters more valuable because now they know AI, right? It won't die completely. It'll make it harder to get paid. Setters are going to have to start dialing a bit more, right? That actually makes you a better salesperson, gets you better commissions anyway, right? But for setting and DM setting specifically, you used to be able to make $5 grand a month just sending DMs. Now you can. Who's calling me? I really hope that is not messing up my thing. Okay, I think it's still going. You can, right, make $5 grand a month on DM set and roll, but you're gonna have to understand it's gonna be a lot harder than it used to be, and AI definitely is coming. And if you're crap at what you do and you have these expectations of making 10K a month tomorrow and you are competing with the same people basically doing the same stuff, you think it's gonna be easy and you're being taught by a fraud, you will be replaced by an AI bot. Okay, so yeah, that is the rundown. That is the raw reality of starting high ticket sales in 2026. Keep that in mind. If you want to actually start it properly, right? And for example, I've sold you on the idea of appointment setting because it's the easiest, lowest barrier to entry way to get into remote sales, okay? And also to making money online in general. I've been doing this for 2 years. I still do it to this day. I'm very good at it. I coach several people. I've got several results. You can check it on my website, right? I've worked with Charlie Morgan, Wayne Brown, done 2 mil cash collected, 6 figures in commissions, but I don't want to sit here and brag. I'd rather just prove to you that it works. So what I want you to do, right, is if you're interested in learning how to start or you have started and you are struggling to make it work because you've been taught by a fraud, you thought it was easy, you're competing with other crap people, you had the 10K a month immediate goal and you think that AI isn't going to touch you, let me help you the right way. Let me help you land a high ticket role that's actually going to be worth your time, right? Guaranteed one-to-one working with me, right? So there's going to be a link down below in the description to speak to me and see how that works. Okay, I'll speak with you one-to-one and show you how I can help you do that properly as somebody who actually does know what they're talking about. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.